Hi guys, welcome back to the workshop. I'm Nick Reeves and this is the next instalment on the build of this Hobbins Hobbies FlyMe combat wing. In the last video we basically got it all framed up. It's had some sanding since but nothing major yet. Next thing I want to crack on with is making up the bell crank, push rod and lead outs. This all comes in the kit. I haven't added anything yet. I can't remember in the video if I showed last time. All I've done is added these bits in here for the tank support. That doesn't come in the kit, but it's just a piece of scrap that I've put in. So you get one push rod, bike spoke, and in the box of bits, tank, engine mount. Alright, so this is a bell crank in here. Get a bell crank and you get a bolt. I'm actually going to tip out all the bits out of here. You get various nuts and bolts, so it's going to be that one there, and from washers. So what we'll have to do is actually drill a hole in here and get that mounted up with a spoke in it, and then make up the lead outs to come out through the wing. What I'll do is I'll get you a bit closer even, so you can see what's going on. Right, so there's the bell crank that I was on about. That will be going through, sorry, this push rod will be going through like that. That'll be mounted on the other side of there. So what I need is to drill a hole the same size as that. So let's see what drill bits we've got. Okay, so the right size drill bit, it's going to be there somewhere. See how that looks. That should be alright, I think. go, nice clean hole, and that bolt should fit through there nicely, just like that. So we've got 3 washers, so we've got a washer underneath the head, a washer between the plate and the bell crank. Right, before I do this, let's see if what Allen key that is. It's possibly going to be that one, which it is. So put this bolt in here, no, through the bell crank. Which one's this going to be? It's going to be that way, so the push rod's going to have to be in. Right, that way up, or that way up? That way up, I think. Yep. Bolt through there. Bell crank on next. Make sure that's going to clear, which it is. Another washer. And stiffen up. Now we'll tighten it up so that it's tight but not binding, where the little spanner's gone. Right. Let me just make it a little bit looser. That's better. So we've got the bell crank in. Push rod in, obviously that's going to be cut to length when we come to put the elevator on, and the horn. So that's the elevator, that will eventually be there, like that. So it's actually starting to look like a combat wing now. So the next thing is the lead outs. Now these come in the kit, it's nylon, well it's coated steel wire, I'm guessing it's nylon coated. 2 lengths, which are plenty long enough for the lead outs. Get ferrules as well, there's 5 of them in there for some reason, I'm not quite sure why there's 5. But I'll make up one end here. Where are my pliers? They won't do it. They might. So I've got a ferrule on the line first, through the hole in the bell crank. This is where it gets a bit fiddly. Back through the ferrule. Over the top and back through the ferrule again. Make sure I've got enough to come out there, which I have. So you might not be able to see on film there. I've just looped it around so it's going to get a nice bite on that, and then just crimp it shut. And before covering, what I'll do is I'll nip the end off there so nothing binds up. Now these are fed through the ribs, hopefully. Through the ribs and then through the ends. So hopefully you'll be able to see there now, from the bell crank out to the end of the wing. So then I'll make up loops at this end, similar to what I've done in the middle. So next piece of wire, what I'm actually going to do is make up the looped end first.
I'll see what you're doing.
Alright. Sorry, Ewan's coming out just to see what I was doing, but it's now gone again. So it's a different way of doing it. I've actually made the ferrule end first, and then I'm going to loop this side through the bell crank and go back through there. As it will pull down neatly, and then just crimp it off. And again, feeding it back through the ribs. And there we have it. So what we need to do now to make up the tips, I'll see if I can't show you a bit better. Same idea again at the tip, but what we need to do is keep the bell crank square and make these ends exactly the same. I can actually see what I'm showing you here. So I need to make up these ends here to make the lead outs the same length. So what I'm going to do is clamp with a peg here, a push rod to the trailing edge, so it's square, make up one and then make the other one to match. So can you see that? Feed the ferrule on first, move it down a little bit, feed the ferrule on first. Need to have a loop at the end, back through the ferrule, because we're trying to create a loop. and then back through the ferrule for the third time, which is a bit fiddly, doing it this handed anyway. Not quite sure what happened there, something happened with the video camera. Right, so what I'm going to do before I crimp it, I'm actually going to take this off. Right, just making sure I've got plenty of movement on there. I've got plenty of movement on that one, so I'm happy to crimp that. And just nip that down. So now this becomes the fun bit, trying to get the second one to be the same length. It's all a case of fiddling and jiggery pokery and all sorts. Bow crank still square. Be about that. It's close enough. So now I just need to loop the tail back through the ferrule. So we can get a good bite on it. So hopefully now that is two ends made up. They're going to be the same, if not perfectly the same ends. And that is the lead out done. So that's fairly quick and simple. There's a bit of tidying up to do, loose tags on here. And really then the next stage is probably going to be fixing the tank in, which I'm not quite sure how I'm going to secure it properly yet, and then doing some covering. So I'll come back to you in a bit once I've figured out what I'm going to do with the tank. Okay, so the tank is now fitted. I was trying to figure out the best way of doing this, and if I'm perfectly honest, I'm not used to building combat wings. Combat wings are, by their nature and design, disposable models. So they're designed to be quick to build, quick to repair, not have hours and hours and hours of love put into them. So all I've done with the tank is just put a couple of blobs of epoxy front and rear, literally just to hold it in place, nothing more than that. And for now, in this video, that's about it. In the next video on this, I'll start looking at doing the covering, and once the covering is done, we can then look at elevator, which we'll need covered, and engine mounting as well, which will be on there like that. But that will go on after the covering's done. The plan is to mount the engine, mark out where the engine should be, drill the holes for it, fuel proof all of this area, probably with epoxy. Give it a nice rub down afterwards, maybe a couple of coats of epoxy the whole thing in place, and then what I'll probably do is drill all the way through from this side all the way through to the other side so it pins it to the centre rib. The bearers aren't quite long enough to go all the way through so I can pin the bell crank mount, so I think if I was probably going to do this again, I'd maybe move the bell crank mount forwards a little bit and extend the bearers back, just so that I can pin all the way through, because what I have seen happen before is a model gets damaged somewhere through here and it keeps the engine, all the strong heavy bits, with the bell crank on the lines. I have actually seen models carry on flying with that much of the wing gone. But anyway, I digress. If you're liking this video and ones like this, doing builds, possibly more detailed builds, let me know. Subscribe in the bottom corner, tick the bell to get notifications when I put a new video up, and until next time, I'll catch you later.